Host, Master Mel.
All right. I am so glad we are finally on the air with my very special guest, Coach Adam Cobb. Give it up. Woohoo.
Yeah.
I am so glad you're here, Adam, and I'm glad we finally went through all that technology mumbo jumbo because it's going to be totally worth it.
What a lesson.
Well, for anyone that's still here in our Blab room that's watching us live, but for those of you that are listening to this on the radio or are listening to the replay, welcome. You are in for a real special treat here. We've got Coach Adam Cobb, and I want to tell you a little bit about him. I don't know him very well. He's a new friend of mine, but I'm excited to get to know him better in the next hour. He is we're going to find out what that means. He is a certified nutritional consultant. He's a sports performance coach. He is a speaker that is about to be doing a TEDx talk, which I'm very excited that he's going to give us a little preview today. He doesn't know it yet, but he is. So I want you to, he was actually working with some athletes earlier today, and he sent me some pictures, and it looked delicious, is all I got to say about that. So welcome, Adam. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me. You're so funny. I love it.
So why don't you tell us what is a health lifter? What is that?
Health head lifter. You know, one of my mentors gave me that title because he said, you know, Adam, you're truly lifting heads in health and encouraging and really lifting people up. And he felt like that's what I was doing for him and some of his colleagues. And they are speakers throughout the world and teachers. And so he kind of coined that health head lifter. So I've kept it, right?
I like it. Okay, we're going to have to change that on your website. Health head lifter. I like that a lot.
Thanks for asking about it.
And so tell us about, how did you get started doing what you're doing, helping people lift their heads?
How did I get started? Well, I was doing a master's of international business, and it's in the Gold Coast of Australia. And from that, I had a near-death experience, and I decided that I wasn't going to play safe anymore. I wasn't going to school for business. I wanted to follow a passion of mine, which is wellness and nutrition. And I wrote about 100 letters to different people in the fields of fitness, nutrition, meditation. And I was able to be mentored by a bunch of different people along the way and on the journey. And it's been really rewarding, and I've been able to then break through two areas that are quite challenging. And I feel like it's a true gift in the sense of the people that I work with feel like they can be vulnerable with me, and they're really high performers, as you mentioned, the athletes and stuff. And they can be vulnerable. They can, and for me, we just get right into the business of working. So it gets right to it, and it's amazing. Yeah.
How long ago was that? When did you get started?
When I get started, I've been doing this for about 15 years. So, yeah.
15. And you're out of New York, is that right?
I've been. I'm in New York. I'm in Brooklyn, and but I've been in Paris for the last 6 months, and now in LA right now at the moment. So I've been bouncing around. But home base is Brooklyn, New York.
Paris? What?
Yeah.
What were you doing in Paris?
It was a tough life. I was working with Luc Besson on Valerian. It's a movie that'll air in 2017 July, and I was hired to work with the two lead actors and address their movement needs, their nutritional needs, their mindset needs, emotional on-set work, and it was an incredible experience.
Were you there? You were on set then?
I was on set. With them before they went on set with them after. I feel like I was with them all day long.
Cool. So what happened to all your athletes that you work with while you were in Paris?
Oh, well, I mean, they're full in season, so they're in their season. They have 3 games a week, traveling all around the world, so all around the country. And but we still keep in touch through FaceTime and Skype and different things like that.
So tell me what it is you would take, like if you had a new client said, yeah, I need whatever you did for so-and-so, I need some of that. What would be the first thing you would do with them?
Yeah, sure. Well, all depends, right? I mean, maybe if you could give me like a real specific situation, then I would give you a really good answer.
Whoa, okay. Really good situation equals a good answer. Good. Okay. So let's say, I don't know. I was an entrepreneur.
Okay.
And I want to take things to the next level, because that's actually what this blog is all about. It's about upping your game, about taking things to the next level, because I work with people as well. And I find that most of the people that I work with, my clients, are already successful.
Sure.
Already successful in something. They've got a certain level of success, and they're looking for that next.
Yeah, great.
They want to just up it. And we're not talking about, big ahas or even big steps, because they're already so successful, but they're looking at what is it that's going to be the next edge, So what would you do with somebody?
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely, teach them the Michelangelo approach, right? I mean, we'd get in there and start to carve, right? Start to paint, start to get in there and sculpt something. I would use the same approach that I do with the professional athletes and the professional actors and actresses and musicians that I work with. And I would identify, what are their strengths, right? We always up-level the strengths that they already have to build momentum. And I'm a big fan of starting with movement. I believe movement is essential, right? We either move or we die. And I think that just building momentum in a physical form starts to manifest then in movement of the mental and the emotional place. If they're willing to go to the spiritual place, great. As an entrepreneur, the same principles apply. Also, as an entrepreneur specifically, it's shifting from making sure that they're practicing self-care and what it look like, and making sure that their self-care doesn't feel selfish or they don't think it's selfish. So it's like switching the identification of what they have with that, because that's always a challenge for entrepreneurs. It's the burnout factor. And it's figuring out, again, I always address AM, PM rhythms. I think that's really key for entrepreneurs especially. Are you still there, Mel?
There she is.
Yeah, it kicks me out every once in a while. Sorry about that. So the last thing I heard was you were talking about movement, helping, and creating the momentum, and hopefully mental and spiritual as well.
Sure. And I was also saying that the burnout factor is really high as entrepreneurs. So especially when you're talking about going to the next level. So the same things apply. Same thing as an athlete, high performer. Same thing as an actress, an actor, high performers. So applying those same principles, understanding that putting themselves first actually, will create a better business, right? A better home life. I think number one thing that I do, and most of my clients say, is that working with Adam, when I'm done working with Adam, he enforces this idea that we're never going to get tired again. And that's really important to me. So it's not just get tired on your business, but it's also, let's not get tired, for your children. Let's not get tired for your husband or wife. Let's not get tired for your community and the leadership that you have to be able to have on a daily basis. Let's not hit the snooze button anymore, right? And what does it look like to not hit the snooze button? And so you create certain specific strategies that work for you. So I think those are all the things that I would potentially start with. And that's what, I think entrepreneurs have to identify immediately. This is a little pearl right now we're going to throw out, is identifying your PM rhythm. What does your nighttime rhythm look like? And if it can be consistent, I think consistency of hitting those singles every single day, not just hitting the grand slams, especially as an entrepreneur, would really matter, right?
So is that what you mean when you talk about the 8th day?
Oh, you went right there right now. Okay. I like that. So 8 days a week is a philosophy that a lot of my MBA athletes really attracted to, because their mentality was no days off. We can go harder than 7 days. And it was cool because they identify with it. They wear like t-shirts. This one I have on says 8 days a week. And, but I truly really started using this hashtag and t-shirts and supplements and stuff with 8 days a week on it, because I wanted people to understand that they could create their own time schedule. And you could do that if you started to move well on a daily basis and start to support that nutritionally, increased your energy, and then made space and time, even if it's a minute, for meditation, for some type of good listening, for some type of good visuals, and compounded over time, then it's like you get to live an extra day, because that intention, that energy that you create, it's more of a mindset, but it's as if you can live 8 days a week. And I ask clients, what would you, in the beginning of our work together, I said, well, what would you be doing on your 8th day? And people, of course, like, what are you talking about? Well, then towards the end, it's like, well, this is what I've been doing on my 8th day, and kind of what does it look like? And it's always for yourself. It's the time for yourself to reset, recenter, and and be able to take a deep breath, because that always feels good.
Yeah.
Drink more water.
Now, what do you think about goals? Because I stopped working with goals.
I'm sorry, you said, what do I think of what?
Goal setting.
Goal setting.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I think goals are, it's healthy to have goals. And at the same time, I have all my clients not only write down what they want to do, but what they've done. And I think what they've done creates lots of momentum. And I'm in this whole momentum game. I like to call myself the CEO of momentum. And it's how do we build the most momentum? Well, oftentimes we acknowledge what we've already done, not for the acknowledgement to be for the acknowledgement of yesterday to be the ego trip of today, but for it to build momentum on the day, right? And so goals are good, right? Goals are good. It's good to have them. I'm not a fan of having 10 goals and having a big to-do list. That's not really my thing. I think it's draining of energy. So I always think of what can reinforce positive energy pushing forward. Yeah.
I stopped doing goal setting a while ago with my client, because it seems like that's where everybody wanted to start all the time.
Mm-hmm.
My goals, because they've been, so many coaches out there that's actually how they operate. Right? It's like, what are your goals? Tell me your goals. Now let's go and reach them. Rather than the approach you're talking about, which I think is really healthy. I think I'm more about setting commitments than goals. Goals seem kind of like in the too far away.
Yeah, well, that's right. I think a lot of people build those goals up to be really big, and I think it's more of obviously for men it's like, well, what do we think about what do we come away with? What was our takeaway for the day? What do we think about our day? And I just think and feel for the whole masculine and feminine thing. And for women, oftentimes the women are just so much more intuitive, and they're just like in their bodies, and it's a beautiful thing. So it's like nurturing that quality, and it's a feel thing. It's like, how do you feel about this? And building on each one of those. Again, sometimes those goals get people stuck, and then they don't show up, right? They don't show up for like next week when you wanted them to show up, because they didn't accomplish their goal, and that sets them back 1 month, 2 months, or even a year. And I'm definitely not in the business of setting people back a few steps, so that's never it. Yeah.
No.
You don't do that too. That's really.
What was that?
I said I love that you don't focus on the goal specifically, right? Yeah.
Because I don't believe that what people want there way down the road. I think it's here now, and we just need to create an awareness around what we already have and what we have now. Right?
I mean, it's like people don't even write business plans anymore, like full-on business plans, because we used to start with a 10-year business plan, but it's like in today's technology and today's learning curve, it's just everything's happening so fast, and it almost seems silly, like you're setting yourself up for sabotage to looking so far out rather than having a plan to some degree and being really flexible in the plan. I like to think, the more flexibility we have, the more we win. So I always really try to help people increase flexibility in their body, which I think then transcends to flexibility in their mind. So.
I know. I love all those metaphors, and I really like the idea of that you can have today what you think. Well, for instance, people think that if I have the body that I've always wanted, then I'll be happy.
Yeah. So
then they stay in a place where they never have the body that they want, and so they never get to be happy. So I try to work with them. How about we just shortcut it and just go straight to happy?
Yeah, that's really good. And I'd also like to add something to that, is that oftentimes with clients, we focus on, we're talking clients that the most important thing is that they perform, right? And even with them, it's having conversations and, it's like information to revelations that happiness is important, and also what brings you joy, right? In my opinion, I think happiness is it's like a feel-good moment, and then joy is like more of a through line. It kind of lasts a little bit longer. So I think in the joy, it's like what gives your soul, what makes your soul happy, right? What makes your soul the joy? And for example, for me, it is I love connecting with the ocean, right? I love connecting to water. I don't have to be in it. I love to be in it, but I don't have to be. And then also going for this morning, went for an incredible walk in Temescal, I think it was Canyon, 7 a.m. Did a nice walk with some friends, and just connect to nature, and that really helps fill up, and it helps build that joy. And so happiness is kind of like a come and go thing, but that joy, if it's there, that's a foundation. So easy to sit on that. And I like to try to challenge my clients to identify what brings them joy. And it's easy. What allows you to breathe, what makes you, makes you feel good, and just making time to do more of that. What is it for you, Mel? What brings you joy?
I also, my whole thing is connecting with nature as well. And I feel really fortunate to be near the ocean.
Yeah.
So I get to go down there a lot.
Beautiful.
And animals and my students. Yeah. I got lots of things that bring me joy. And food.
check.
I try to surround myself with the things that I love.
Yeah,
so,
that's great.
To stay in that energy. Otherwise, I don't have anything to give to anybody else. Right?
What a distinction. That's so good.
So, I work with people on a physical level as well. And I have a real propensity towards the spiritual. And I read that in a lot of your stuff. And I wanted to ask you a bit about that. What do you mean by spiritual and a spiritual connection and things that you write about on your website?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. So for me, again, there's the soul work and there's spirit work. And I personally like to separate them. And I think soul work is what makes your soul full, and whether it's connecting with nature, for me, connecting with nature, water, things like that. Even a good book, something like that. For me, listening to the right music and doing a little cooking, that fills me up. So there's certain things that fill my soul up, but spirit work for me is a little different. So spirit work for me is like truly investing into a relationship with something that's bigger than me, right? And whatever that may be, I think some people, not to get caught up on semantics, but I believe in God, and and a fair amount of, actually tons of my clients are global pastors. So I'm oftentimes on my phone, on my iPhone, checking what time zones are the different pastors that I work with globally, and it's been really rewarding working with a clientele of pastors, because what it's done is, I think it's almost like I'm working with them, but also it's like I'm doing spirit work in the process. For me, it's prayer. For me, it's reading the Bible, or it could just be an amazing book, a C.S. Lewis book, or something on spirit life and faith, and building that up. And also doing it with people. I think we're not meant to do life alone. We're meant to do life with people. And there's an aspect, iron sharpens iron, and that we do things together with people, and there's some strength in that, and it's a strong foundation. Though I like one-on-one, I think that's my love language. One-on-one is my love language, and I've had to stretch to be around more people, to invite people into things, and I realize that the power in building faith in that way. And some people may not believe in God, and it's like, okay, well, what's the shift? We believe in something that's bigger than us, and whatever that may be for you, and I always try to help people not get caught up on a certain word. If it's Jesus, well, replace that with something else that works for you, right? Oneness, whatever that may be for them.
Or whatever, yeah. Well, what is your spiritual path? Like how did you get started in all of that?
Yeah. That's a great question, though. So I had it was really good. So I had a friend of mine that I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to come out to New York. I wanted to work with high performing people. I felt like I had a calling specifically for that type of person. And my friend was already doing it in New York. And he said, why don't you come out here? And I'd like to introduce you to some people. And he was flying around the planet with people on their jets and doing these immersion retreats for like a week or 2 weeks. And he said, but first come to this, come to this retreat with me. And he didn't tell me what it was. So I went to this retreat, and it was about 100 guys, all around like 25, dressed really well and praising God like it was, all of their birthdays. And I didn't realize that type of celebration for God was even happened. And it was true connection. It was true celebration. It was a real relationship, not religion. For me, religion doesn't work for me, but relationship does. So that really makes sense for me. And it was a really peak state of feeling like full of faith. Well, on the drive home, I was driving with my friend. His name's Jamel. I'm driving with Jamel to New York now to kind of get into this craft and career. And I got a phone call. And it was raining outside, and we're driving in the car, and it's kind of rainy. We're having like one of those like rainy talks, right? Like a very in-depth, introspective conversation about faith and what just happened. Well, I got a phone call from my roommate in college that our other roommate in college got hit head on with a tractor trailer and instantly passed. And it was one of the hardest phone calls. I'm gonna make sure Mel's there before we continue. I don't see her face. We'll just pause for a moment. Let's see if Mel can come back.
Yeah, she'll be back.
The voice of God.
Sorry about that.
Hey, Mel. You got frozen in a smile, though. It was a nice frozen moment.
Keep going.
Yeah. Well, I was getting to a point of saying that I was at a peak state of faith, feeling really good. And a roommate of mine called me, and he said that another roommate, unfortunately, was hit head on with a tractor trailer, and he died instantly. And it was a moment of course, sadness, crying. And it was unique because it was at a place where my faith was at the highest point it's ever been. And my friend reached over and he said, that, all this is a test, and it's your choice. Do you want to believe that what we experienced was nothing, or do you want to believe that it's everything? And I chose that it was everything. And since that moment, I dove deeper into my faith, and it's been a real blessing to be able to work with people. It happens that all the athletes I work with are really deep into their spiritual lives, and they invest into it, and it's a special thing. So it was a sad story, but at the same time, a beautiful, beautiful conclusion to it, because it drew a lot deeper, and I think in sense, and I drew closer to a population of pastors that really felt like after they did wellness and meditation and movement work, that it helped them become even better pastors in delivering their sermons in a greater way and have more impact. So it's been great.
Well, I'm so glad to hear that. I actually grew up in the church and went to like 4 years of Bible college and have dealt with the
preacher in you. I was.
But I worked a lot with the leaders of the church, and I found that, and it all depends on the denominations and so forth, of course, but that they really, the ones that I've known over the years, have really need that kind of work as well. Do you know what I mean? Like that, the mental mindset stuff, definitely the physical. Don't get me started. But the movement, nutritional, all those kinds of things is really needed in the church a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah. I found the nutrition being the most important, combined with the meditation. The movement's important, but a lot of the pastors I work with, they're like 35, GQ'd out. I mean, they look amazing, and but
that's not their issue.
it's nourishing, right? Providing that, so it's been great. Yeah.
So you've got pastors. Oh, I know what the question I really wanted to ask you too was, when you're working with someone, it sounds like you have a beginning and an end. Is that true? Like, you work with people mostly on a period of time, or towards a specific event or goal or game, or how do you usually work?
Yeah, that's good. So with the NBA guys, I mean, it's June, July, August, September. That's the off season. And so we work pretty hard, 8 days a week for 4 months. And then in the season, I have an in-season program. So I'm still working with them just remotely. And I'll go visit them, and check them out, do a little bit of like setting them up with the right people in the town that wherever city they're playing in. Just make sure I resource the right people so they know who they're going to yoga for, who they're going to massage for, where their food's coming from, those kind of basic things. And then for, as far as for movies, I mean, if I'm on set with a movie with an actor, it's during that process of the movie, and then musicians getting ready for a tour. I've been on tour with people before, done that as well. So I think it kind of runs the gamut, as far as what it looks like. You asked if there's a beginning and an end. The beginning is always movement creates freedom. Freedom to think differently, freedom to let their emotions kind of go, which is important, especially for the actors. I mean, within the first month, they're like crying more than they ever have, which is really good because it's getting their emotions to flow. And it's been really therapeutic. At least that's the feedback I've gotten. And the end, in the middle, which is sometimes messy, right, is the nutritional component, eat for energy, and really driving people to understand the associations to food and how it plays in the performance. And then the end is always something that I like to call think well or find your center. And to get people to feeling centered, feeling grounded, exploring that spiritual life, that soul work, that spirit work. That's always where I enjoy the most. But we have to have a vehicle to get there. So, and sometimes, it starts with physical because people want to move. So it's easy. And then eventually we always get there. Yeah.
Okay. So the name of this blog, Upping Your Game, I want you to give us a skeleton. I know you can't go into a lot of detail because you don't even have a lot of time left, but I want you to give us like your top tips on how we can really up our game as leaders, entrepreneurs, to really take us to the next level.
Okay.
That?
So you want say it again?
Can you give us your inside juicy stuff that you only give to all the celebrities?
So you want like a little backstage pass. All access, simple shortcuts. I think I think it's examining. I mentioned before the PM rhythm. I really believe in AM and PM rhythms, and I'll tell people, show me what your PM rhythm looks like. Meaning, before you go to bed, right? What does it look like? What does it look like from 11 p.m. on, right? What does your life look like? I want to see it. And oftentimes, that's where, right there in itself, is where I identify the problem. And we create a 5-step process, 5 steps always being different for them, but that can get them into a place of de-stress, get their mind right. You have to get your mind right to get a good day in, but you have to get your mind right to go to bed well. And what does that look like? And just as important as that is a morning rhythm, right? I mean, we know waking up and looking at Instagram right away, or Twitter or whatever, isn't what we're looking to do. And we're not looking to, so there's certain moments, that's basic stuff. But I mean, diving deep into what does your morning look like? And do you have a morning, practice, right, that you actually practice, right? So I think that's really important. I'm a huge fan of, how to, I mean, it's essential, but, I think you're talking about a tip. And these are basic stuff, but it's the building block, right? We talk about water, and I know all of us want to drink more water, but very few times it's like, oh, I've had too much water today. Like, that usually never happens, right? And so it's right. I haven't, it's these moments. So I always think of ways, how can you incorporate more water into your life? What's your system, right? And actually taking the time to create a system around it. And also, when are you going to create that space in your life to think of, whether it's a meditation app, whether it is, whatever that's going to be, right? And that's important. One of the biggest tips I always have everyone do, I don't even take clients on unless they're open to it. And that is, I'll gift them with a journal when we first start working. And my mentor, Todd Durkin, which is a phenomenal trainer, author, speaker in San Diego, I think he's speaking at the IDEA conference, which is one of the biggest ones in fitness. And he's also a massage therapist. He says that journaling is as therapeutic as a massage. And how would it feel to get a massage at 10 p.m. every night before you went to bed? It'd be amazing, right? But a lot of us don't have the time. We may not have the resources to do that. But all of us could journal. And if journaling is therapeutic as a massage, then why wouldn't we journal? And this isn't called typing in your memo pad or actually getting a pen or pencil out and writing in a journal. And often people have the question, well, what do I journal on? And I say start real simple with a BID. That's something that I like to have my people do. And BID stands for beauty in the day. Beauty in day. And what's the beauty in your day? And what you do is you start to, and women are like, oh, beauty in the day, that's such a good idea. Men are like, beauty in the day? What do you mean, Adam? And come on, coach. And it's like, no, I want you to start seeing it, because when they can build that gratitude that flows through them, then, we're not worrying. It's impossible to be full of gratitude and be worried or be anxious. Like, you just can't do it. It's impossible. But we don't have our gratitude tank isn't really, it isn't even close to being full usually, right? But it's like constantly doing it. And something else that happens when you write beauty day as you journal before you go to bed is you have that on the mind. You go to bed with it and you start to see it, right? I mean, you're seeing beauty all day long. We just don't observe it. You just don't acknowledge it. So it's like you start looking for it. Oh, that was the beauty in the day. And then maybe in your phone, you write it down to remind yourself later on at night. So there's these little tips. So what does that do? It builds that attitude of gratitude, right? And the nutritional component is key. We already talked about the water and planning. I believe in fast food, right? I believe in fast food because you're living in the fast lane as an entrepreneur. So you have to have fast food. Now, what does that mean? That means that you better spend, a day a week to prep and just do a simple food prep. It takes 3 hours max. And you can prep the whole week. And then you could live in the fast lane with fast food and not get to the place of starvation, which is the sleepy place that we all fail, and we don't have that time. You can't have, never be tired again unless you prepare to never be tired again. And it doesn't take as long as people, realize. But I always say, show me a schedule, I'll show you a success. When you start to, I had a client of mine that has every day of his, he's one of the biggest hosts, like hosts on television. He's like the biggest host. And he has like 3 assistants, and he's incredibly busy and very productive, because there's one thing to be busy and one thing to be productive. And he's highly productive. I haven't seen anybody as productive as him. And every day he has his 1 hour block of time, he calls it, and each block is full. And it might say, gym, or it might say reading, or, it might have like things for him, a conversation with so-and-so. But he blocks things out, and that's not doable for everybody. But for him, it really works. And what it does is, I think, even if you did it for a week, you start to see where you waste tons of time, right? How often are we just, oh my God, you look up and it's like, I just spent an hour on a social media platform, and I wasn't really being like, I wasn't driving my business on it. I was actually just like goofing off, right? And yeah, I wasn't strategically like being direct with what I was doing. So I wasn't walking with a purpose on my social media. So anyway, I think those are some tips that I think some people that are listening could start with. And
I'm going to repeat them here because I don't even know if you know how many you just gave us. It's awesome. Okay, so first of all, you talk about PM rhythm. I do want a little bit more detail about this. Like, so what is an ideal PM rhythm?
Yeah, well, let's use you, for example. Like, what's your night look like before you go to bed?
Before I go to bed? Well, I eat very, very late.
Okay.
My dinner's because I'm at the dojo. And so I come home and then make some food and eat. And then I wind down, which is, I have to admit, I am on my computer.
Okay.
And but it's all things that don't take too much of my mind, like maybe working with my photos or something that I enjoy.
Yeah. So what about when you close your computer? What happens then from the moment you close your computer, unless you're in bed, but the moment you close your computer and then you
don't take my bed. I don't take my computer.
Okay, we always have boundaries, right? Those are good boundaries to have.
So well, I've got a nightly routine. Like,
yeah, what do? That's why it's just helpful.
I wash my face.
You wash your face. This is really good. This is exactly where we're going. So you wash your face. What else? Because some of these things we do without knowing, but what do?
I mud my teeth. I use a special mud tooth. Brush my teeth with mud.
Brush your teeth with mud. Perfect. I mean, it doesn't every. So we have washing your face, brush your teeth with mud. Well, give me more.
Oh, geez.
I take my vitamins. Take my vitamins.
Beautiful. 2 more.
And I read a little bit.
Okay. And you're a physical book or electronic, like Kindle book or iPad?
No, I like books. I'm
a hard book. Very good. Yeah. Yeah. And how about one more?
And I kiss my husband goodnight.
Well, see, rather than me giving, whoever's listening 5, I think you just gave us 5. And those 5 sound amazing, right? And I often share oftentimes that I remember a doctor friend of mine said the number one way that you can prevent getting sick is simply floss. And he always encouraged flossing before you go to bed. So I often throw that one in there for sure.
I actually floss twice a day.
I can tell because those pearly whites already told me that. Yeah. So the flossing's key. Allowing yourself to have, again, a half an hour maybe before you go to bed to just have that time to read. That's a beautiful thing. Again, journaling is one of the other components.
You really inspired me. I watched your journal talk that you do on your website, on your blog.
Yeah.
And you're talking about your mom and the whole journaling thing. You really inspired me to start journaling.
Oh, really? Excellent. I'm so happy to hear that. It really is special. I've journaled every day since I was a sophomore in high school. And obviously journaling was different then than it is now. And
I hope so.
And so now I'll do like poetry. Now I'll do the beauty in the day. I mean, it's very much a release. You know, I think nowadays people release on social media, and that's not where we're supposed to release. Like we're supposed to release in a private journal. And after that, if you still want to share something that's on your heart or on your mind, then okay. But I think oftentimes, especially a lot of these athletes, athletes, partners, or different things like that, and they just share stuff. Like, what did you just do? Like that wasn't meant for the public.
Back inside.
Right there in your journal. It's a journal entry, you know. But so I think all those things, Mel, are so incredible that you mentioned already, and kiss your husband goodnight, and again, journaling, a bit of reading, meditation's a great thing at night. Also, even if there's a little bit of stretching, even foam rolling is great. If you don't have a foam roll, you take a tennis ball, roll your butt on the thing to open up those hips, because we're going to be dormant for a little while, and dormant for anywhere from 6 to 8 hours or 48 hours, whatever that is for people. And,
I love my big black roll.
Right? Yeah, that's a big one. So I think I'm also a big fan of not too much, because it's not too good too much, but supplementing with magnesium, low doses, but I like magnesium supplement because not only does it bring upon a calming effect for people to just relax a little bit extra, give them permission to do that, it also helps to improve intracellular water, which then is you have intra and extra, and intracellular water is inside the cell, and it allows you to absorb more water inside the cell with magnesium. So, and that allows you to have longer energy throughout the day, the next previous day. So oftentimes that's a nice little extra tip. Or tea at night, what's that?
Magnesium every night for me.
Yeah, well, listen, I know that you have amazing rhythm down, and but I think between the few things that you shared and I shared, I think that we've given a good PM rhythm model.
Yeah, no, I like it. I never heard that term before, a PM rhythm. I've used things like like a nighttime protocol, or sleep hygiene kind of things. But I like PM rhythm. It has
flows a little bit more, right? Yeah, even like you're doing. You're like, oh, I want to do that. Like, I don't want to do a protocol before I go to bed.
I don't want to do that. You're right.
Go to bed. Yeah.
Some sleep hygiene. I don't like that either.
Yeah. That sounds like I'm in the dental office, and who wants to go to the dentist's office? We all know what that feels like. Yeah.
Excellent. I like getting new terms. Okay, so then I get the idea then also about AM rhythm, because I'm really about rituals in the morning for sure.
Yeah, which is the best time, right? I mean, I challenge everybody to the 5 a.m. club, which is something that I always share with people that, especially in like New York or LA. It's like I don't know what clubs you're trying to get into, and they might be tough with long lines, but the hardest club to get into is the 5 a.m. club, because it takes consistency. And it takes time, right? But it also allows you to have, especially people that are listening that have children, and that can be quite challenging. But guess what? Like it's wake up a little bit before, wake up a little bit before. Even when they're sleeping, maybe they don't sleep at all, but most of them do a little bit. And wake up a little bit before and have that time for you, and it's just a special time. It's a special time.
Okay, so we got PM rhythm, we got AM rhythm, we got lots of rhythm. We have water. We've got making sure you're drinking enough water. And what do you give as a rule of thumb for that?
For a rule of thumb, I'm a big fan. Obviously I know you're up on that, but as far as body weight in ounces, half your body weight in fluid ounces is a great way to start. Personally, I weigh about 200 pounds, and I drink about 200 ounces of water a day. I think a good measure, though, is half your body weight in water, and then for every minute, for every 10 minutes that you're sweating, that's another 10 ounces added to that. So it gives you a good measuring stick if you need something like that. And I think a lot of people do. They need to know exactly what the protocol is.
Well, they do. And then they need a way to keep track of it.
That's right. And I think that's a big deal. right? Yeah, I think a lot of people line up like 8 little bottles, and I'm a big fan of finding like a 75-ounce water bottle that's not too, or maybe like a 50-ounce, something that's a good size that isn't a gallon, because a gallon just like, that's just a little awkward. But the other ones make sense, and it's like something, or even a bottle like this that I know, hey, this is 33 ounces. I'm going to fill this up roughly 6 times, 7 times, and that's okay. That's not that bad. Yeah. Do you have a certain method yourself?
Oh, well, I teach the half your body weight for sure. I like the 10 minutes sweating 10 ounces. I like that.
Yeah. You have like a way of like, okay, just get a big water bottle, or count your bottles, or like count your glasses. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people don't count.
Well, what I do, or what I did when I used to spend more time at the dojo, and now I have a home office as well. But I did have the gallon jug.
Oh, the gallon. Yeah.
That I poured from into a glass, so I didn't have to keep track of the glasses. I could just see, well, I haven't finished my gallon.
That's a good measurement stick, as long as you don't have to cart it around everywhere. Yeah.
No, that's if you're sitting at a desk.
My mindset's always like New York City, walking around, and you have to be, you don't have a car, so I'm always like, how do you function in a city with a gallon, right? Get one back. Yeah, get one back.
Okay, so I got PM rhythm, AM rhythm, water. I've got space, make space. I like that a lot too.
Yeah, make space, and being okay with the space, right? Solitude is a gift. So if solitude is a gift, and we can start thinking in that way, then you can create something in that space. But oftentimes, you have to just make space. Like I'm like, make space first. Make 5 minutes of space. And even if you feel massively uncomfortable because everybody just wants to do this in the space, and start going here, what does 5 minutes of space look like? Sit with the uncomfortable.
On this thing.
Right? And sit with the uncomfortable. And then eventually, you're going to create something with that space. And it's going to serve you for sure. Yeah.
And then just 3 more I got from you. I got journaling, which I'm going to take on. I'm going to start today. And I love your take on fast food. We have to talk again and just do a whole show on nutrition, because that's where I really wanted to go. I love talking.
Yeah, you can do it all day. Going to Duke Integrated Medicine and really focus on that functional medicine model. I mean, that's where
I really, really want to do that. Okay, we'll do that.
I spend 80% of my time researching. If I would say I spend about 80% of my time in the realm of nutrition, and always making sure that I'm on that edge of what's important to know, how it works, acid alkaline, metabolism work, all the different fasting things, all that stuff, because so many clients bring me the new latest fad, and I have to know how to talk around it and talk through it and kill the hopes and dreams of being on the fad. So, yeah.
Well, and then the last one that you gave us there was schedule. And I am a huge fan of schedule blocking. In fact, I'll show you one of my sheets. I don't know if you can see that. But I literally block out, they're in 15-minute increments.
Yeah.
And block it out and stick to a schedule.
That's wonderful. Yeah, and and with my schedule, I have the blocks, and a friend of mine taught me a while back of the MIT and writing down the most important thing. And that's really what I do. I have a good idea of what the day is going to look like, blocks of time. And at the top, I just write MIT. And that means like that's the most important. There's like one most important thing. Because really, like if you just did the most important thing that was on your on your plate every day, like imagine, right? Imagine like goals. Hello, you don't need goals at that point. You just need the most.
1 week and you're all done.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Thank you so much, Adam. Our time is up. I can't believe that went by so fast.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of smiles, a lot of laughter. So it's always good.
And people can get a hold of you at Coach Adam Cobb. And that's really your name on all your social media platforms too, right? You're on Facebook. I know you've got a great Instagram account on there. Facebook, anywhere else?
I would say I really focus on my account, and I try to get one that I really invested and gave value on, and that I could comment back, and I personally do that account. And I really try to be responsive to that and make sure I honor people's comments and those things. Yeah. So Coach Adam Cobb on Instagram.
So those of you who have been listening, please follow up and follow Coach Adam Cobb and be inspired, because his feed is very, very inspiring. Thanks again, honey, for being with me. And let's get together again and we'll talk all about food.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait to talk about food with you.
Thanks.
Okay.
Talk to you later.
Great. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Radio Blab with Master Mel. Live each week, Melodee Meyer empowers you to become a black belt in your business and life every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern or anytime 24/7 on RadiostarWorldwide.com.